Go.
All right, greetings everybody. I'm here, David Dallison speaking on this 14th of September 2023, 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern, here with Eric Lima and Chester.
Hello.
What's going
Yeah.
on, everybody?
Well, still trying to go through the process of what just happened. Eric, explain.
Well, the Red Sox had set apart ways with chief baseball operator Chaim Bloom, just announced today. So
Yeah.
that's probably the biggest news. I'm sure a lot of Red Sox fans out there are probably saying it's about time they did it. But then there's a lot of us saying, "Oh, let's trust Chaim and see what he can do and all that." But it is what it is, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
Especially with the way this Red Sox Yankees series is going right now. The Red Sox are probably going to be in last place again to finish it for back-to-back seasons. But and there's still 2 weeks, and I will not be here next week because of doctor appointments. Eric will take over, of course, before making way there that night, and I'll be back here the week after for the final episode this year. We're not going to be going to do the show during the playoffs because I want everybody to enjoy the playoffs. For those who are teams who are in it, or just a casual baseball fan that wants to watch it. Um, because we have the hockey show coming up, the Hockey Puckers, Jason and others, and also that's that football just got brought back last night, which is going to be 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time Wednesdays. So finally got back on track. We're having that show Wednesdays now. Let's go over the news here, shall we? We have the injuries. Um, Rangers are calling up top prospect Evan Carter as they would replace Adonis Garcia on the IL. Pat Taylor, tendon strain. Um, Blue Jays announced Bo Bissett has been activated off the IL, which is good news for the Blue Jays. Uh, Dodgers Mickey Betts is back on the IL after he was on crutches for a week or I don't know how long exactly he was on, but since the past week he was on crutches and missed the Washington series, but he's back on the field. But not this guy, and at least until the end of 24. Yankees Jason Dominguez has torn UCL and now have Tommy John surgery. So, and now Yankees Luis Severino is out for the season as well. I'm not sure the type of injury he had. I forgot, but um, pretty crazy there. And Rangers Max Scherzer is out for the season with a low grade major strain. He is unlikely to pitch in the postseason. And of course, the Rangers will get there, which we'll talk about later. Um, and that was per Chris Young. And Dodgers Walker Brewer, who is recovering from Tommy John surgery, won't return this season. Still recovering, it seems like, and will miss until possibly next season for 2024. Padres Udavas has also been shut out for the season. Bob Melvin says has tests recently revealed a bone spur in his elbow that is going to cause some problems for him, and let's see how long it recovers for him. Now here are the accomplishments. Arizona Diamondbacks Zach Gallen has thrown a complete game shutout earlier this past week, so good for him. Dodgers Freddie Freeman has broke the all-time Dodgers record for doubles with 53. Um, Yankees Garrett Cole with 3 200K strikeout seasons in his career. Pretty cool accomplishment. And this accomplishment is on the weights for Adam Wainwright. He is one away for 200. We'll see. He's retiring this year for Cardinals pitcher Adam Wainwright. Will he get 200? We have to find out. Eric, you think he will get 200?
200 what? I'm losing
200
confused.
wins.
Who we're talking about now?
Adam Wainwright.
Adam who? Adam
Wainwright.
Wainwright?
Yeah.
Adam Wainwright? I think he can do it.
Just-
I mean, but if he
Wainwright.
needs to go to a team that can win, because Cardinals.
Yeah.
This is his. He announced his retirement after the season, so we'll see. Chester, do you think Adam will get it?
I think he'll get it. That guy is wasn't he the Cardinals ace for a long time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll get it. It would be a
And
good
Alex
exclamation point for his career if he gets it.
Oh yeah. And by the way, folks, Joey will be here later. He is just getting oil, so he'll be back here by the next hour. And yeah, we'll see what happens. And I think this is the reason why Adam Wainwright decided to stay another year. After Pujols and Moroney left last year, I think this is the reason why, because they want to get 200 wins. I think that's the reason. That's just my opinion. Some other Brave stuff. For the sixth straight year, the Atlanta Braves have won the NL East, which is a pretty incredible accomplishment. I mean, they're the kings of the NL East, folks. 6 years straight. That's pretty incredible to do. Like the Dodgers have done for a while now as
Just
well.
like the '90s, man. Just like
It's
Yeah.
like the 90s.
But,
Yep.
just like the '90s, the Braves once again dominant in that division. I tell you
Hell
what,
yeah.
there's a, and they were talking about the Braves winning. Was it Red Sox? Kevin Youkilis and Dave O'Brien. Kevin Youkilis is right. You have a mix of talent from the young players to the veterans, and that's what makes a good team successful. And
I
you get
agree.
Charlie Morton heading that rotation, which is really, really huge. And
Mhm.
Braves may end up walking away with another World Series title. So
Hell
I like
All
to see
for
Braves
that.
and Astros go at it one more time.
yes.
Go at it
We'll
one more
see.
time.
Also, Matt Olson has had 50 homers this season. Will he get to 60, 61, or 62 like Judge? I don't know. He had 2 weeks left. He's been hitting a bunch of home runs since the beginning of spring training. Me and Eric know that for sure. Let's see what happens. And Orioles are the first team in history to beat every other team, all 30 teams ever in a single season. The Baby Birds, folks. And that's history right there. And that is why they're currently first place in the AL East. But the question is, will the Rays get back into it? The Rays, because they're playing each other right now with their series as they speak. So we'll see what happens if the Rays will get first place back by the end of the year, or the Orioles will keep that. We'll see what happens. It's a very tough AL East with those two. Same with the Blue Jays. We'll see what happens. Here are the transactions as co-ops. Rockies agreed to a 2-year contract with German Marquez that will keep in Colorado for 2025. Pretty interesting. Cubs are calling up top prospect Pete Crow Armstrong. Blue Jays never reported Alec Manoah to AAA when it was optioned on August 11th because he was upset about the situation, the decision. Manoah reportedly has not been throwing bullpen or side sessions, and it's unlikely he will pitch again this season. So, looks like if the Blue Jays go back to the postseason, he's going to miss out the fun because of his struggles. Orioles are calling up top prospect has done uh, Tristan, Tristan, um, on his way to Baltimore. And the final part of this transactions news, I mean, as part of the team making a decision here, Red Sox fire GM Heimblum. Um, I want to hear Eric's point of view here because I want to hear his reaction when it comes to Heimblum's era coming to an end.
Well, it was a tough era for
Take
him
away,
to.
Eric. What's your thoughts on
I,
Heimblum?
for him it was pretty tough because you had the pandemic that really kind of affected a lot of things that have been happening in the Red Sox organization, and I know it was hard for Hein Bloom to get the players that the Red Sox needed and all, and you would think with Alex Cora back and everything else, that's what it all started, because you had Ron Renicky who had to be the interim manager for Alex Cora because of
The scandal.
because the Houston Astros scandal and all, and and Alex Cora, who was part of that Houston Astros, had to be punished for it, and
Yeah.
Oh,
and
wow. I forgot about that.
and so, anyways, yeah, so it was hard for Hein Bloom to get, it was tough on him to work with. I know there's some questionable trades and acquisitions that he has done, and a lot of people were saying, "Oh, fire Hein Bloom, this," and they waited until now. The Red Sox waited until now. I think the only big accomplishment that he did was basically get close to the World Series with 2022, even though they lost 2021 when they lost to Houston in 6 games. So the Red Sox did. That was only the one.
Also, sorry to interrupt, but he also rebuilt the farm system from dead last to fifth.
Yeah, I think that's the only good thing that he's done as well. So whoever the Red Sox hired to take Bloom's place is going to inherit that farm system, and that person, that individual, whoever that may be, can figure out what to do for they.
He'll forever be known for Mookie Betts, Sandy Bogarts, others as well.
Yeah, I
So.
think that's the reason why I think a lot of people want him fired. And
Also, he didn't get enough pitching at the trade deadline that the players asked for this year because they were short on pitching and they just kept the same team. And look what happened.
Yeah,
Versus
I think.
Houston, they asked him more.
Yeah, well, I think there's inactivity in the trade deadline to get pitches and all that good stuff and pictures. And like I said, the mistake of letting Betts and Bogarts walk, and that's another thing too. So
yeah,
that was a stupid move.
So he made a lot of dumb moves, and that's could be what cost him his job in the end. What can you do?
Yeah, nothing you can do about it. But I don't know. Who knows what will happen with the Red Sox next season? Only time will tell. But here is. Let me see if I can get to this part with the other news. Because let's see where. Well, I don't have it right here, unfortunately, but let's just say the Washington Nationals decided to cancel Strasburg's appreciation or whatever it was, which was kind of weird, but I don't know. We'll see. And the Angels are open to trade Mike Trout if he seeks a trade this offseason. I don't know. I don't know about this because
it's a little too late.
Mike Trout, because Mike Trout has signed a non-contract with no trade clause. Through whatever year, he was going to be there for at least 10 years. Mike Trout with Anaheim Angels, and now they're saying all of a sudden they're open to trade Mike Trout if he seeks a trade this offseason. I'm just like, I can't see him on another team because he signed that non-contract, and is Mike Trout ready to leave Anaheim? I mean, yes, they are a bad team right now. But I don't know, man. We'll see. I'll believe it when I see it if a trade actually happens. But right now, I don't believe this. That's just my opinion. And Mets are hiring David Stearns to become the president of operations for the New York Mets. Let's see how that affects that. Now, the question of the day here: are the Rangers going to playoffs? They were in first place for pretty much the first of the season and the AL West. And here comes the scary Seattle Mariners and also Houston Astros taking first and second place. Are the Rangers, especially with how tough the AL East right now, are the Rangers done? Eric.
I hate to say it, but they are, because without Max Scherzer, there's no chance the Rangers are going. The only way, we got a 3-game series against them next week, so the Red Sox can play spoiler. So
also the Rangers lost. Who was it? Garcia as well. But he was a pretty big part of the team too. But they don't string. So
yeah, a lot of untimely injuries, and on the Rangers, that's going to hurt them in the long run. So I'm afraid that I don't think they're going to make it.
Chester, as a Texas-born resident, even though you work for Houston, but they're both in Texas. Do you think the Rangers are done?
Well, I don't think they're done, but we'll see with that injury depleted with DeGrom and Scherzer gone.
How fitting.
Yeah, that
How
bullpen
fitting
is depleted.
Well, what do we have here?
Hey,
no, there we go.
I put it. You and I shared it. Oh my goodness!
I shaved majority of my face, and I see Jesse did too. Like I see he has just the chin strap now. Looks like he's getting ready to go play football.
All
right, David, what did you do? Why are you behind your camera now?
Well, that's because my camera, for some reason, on my Windows laptop is crappy as of late. Since I'm done talking about the news, I might as well turn it on to see how long it lasts.
Well, if you ever get the money or a scholarship, you'll be able to afford your own. But yeah, no, how about them A's? They actually came close to a sweep, and then they nearly get no hit trying.
Wow.
It wasn't Verlander. It wasn't Valdez. It was the entire freaking Astros bullpen last night. Took them 8 2/3 to get a base hit. No, 8 1/3. 8 1/3. And they get 2 runs, so.
Oh, gee.
46 and 100.
That's crazy that the Astros almost thrown another no-hitter again. That's crazy.
Well, would have been their second of the season behind Valdez, so. I do say this much. If this is the penultimate season, not the ultimate season, not the final season, but the penultimate season for the A's, I'd say they could have done a lot worse considering how bad they were to start the season.
Mm-hmm. And
the Astros are still going to make the damn playoffs. And I gave Boston their due, and unfortunately, they came up just a little bit short. They came up short just like Pedroia does at second base.
Wow.
That's so funny. I forgot to laugh.
Hey, if you forgot your sense of humor, ask Kevin how the Reds are doing.
Oh.
Ellie De La Cruz, that guy. Oh God, I'm sorry, Eric. I'm not trying to steal your accent here, but Ellie De La Cruz, that guy. He used to be so good, and then second half of the season, he couldn't do anything.
Sound like
He
Tony
lost his way to second base. He could steal home, but he couldn't do anything else.
Well, remember, he's only a rookie, so he's got a lot to learn.
I know, but that reminds me of another 44 the Reds had recently. And I don't mean Eric Davis. I'm talking about Aristides Aquino, who hit all those home runs for him and then did nothing else the next season. Sophomore slump is very real for a player like that, especially in their situation, because Yoshida is AL Rookie of the Year material. It's going to be, and I think the A's have at least two guys that are going to get some votes. Ryan Noda's going to get votes. Geloff's going to get some votes. But again, for Geloff, it's small sample size because he got off to that great start and everything, but that's about it. It's like I talked about last time, though. I'll get back to the topic at hand. It's Houston, it's Seattle, and it's Texas. Texas, if they don't go on that slide, if they don't go on that slide, they're still in this playoff race. But, yeah, no, I think Texas ran out of luck. Because I will say this, Bruce Bochy is still a hell of a manager, but nobody, and I mean nobody, can dig Texas out of the Texas-sized hole they're in right now. Like, you have to have – well, that's what happens. They lose to the A's, and they win the series against the A's, but they couldn't beat them until the last two games. So you got to have a team that's like Houston. Yes, they lost 2 out of 3 to the A's, but they're still putting forth an effort to actually manage their team because Dusty Baker's still a hell of a manager.
Yeah, to this day.
Yeah. And one other thing is, Texas makes the playoffs if they don't lose DeGrom. DeGrom was kind of the glue that held them together. And Scherzer is probably out for the year now. Because Scherzer hurt his arm throwing a pitch against the Blue Jays. That just goes to show you, number one thing is, do not invest in these old relievers because Verlander showed rust against the A's. Scherzer hurt himself throwing a fastball against the Blue Jays. It's the older pitchers that, when you think of older pitchers, I'll use an example out of the Red Sox book. Curt Schilling, 2004. He's in his late 30s. He pitches 4 more seasons for him. He's 36 at that point. He retires after the 2008 season at the age of 40. Yes, he helped them win 2 World Series, but don't go over your threshold for your budget just for an old man pitcher.
Yeah.
David, can't hear you. Yeah, your lips are moving, but we can't hear you, David.
Unless it became okay, now we can hear barely.
There we go.
What I was trying to say was, it's not about the resume. It's about their health, how old they are, and how can they manage.
Well, that's why they get a physical at the beginning of every season, because if one of us was a baseball player, we'd have to go get arms, legs, knees, feet, even up here. They do mental checks. That's a part of a physical now, is they check your physical and mental well-being, because you don't want a head case on your team. That's why Manny Machado is in San Diego. He's a head case. You don't need a head case on your roster, because then you're just causing problems. That's why Boston didn't have any head cases. Houston doesn't have any head cases. Well, they had Correa, but Correa's now. And that's another thing. Physicals, especially with Carlos Correa. Look where he could have landed. He could have landed in New York with the Mets. He could have had all that money, $300 million. He did not pass his physical. He could have landed all that money with the Giants. Did not pass his physical. He goes back to Minnesota, and they knew something was wrong with him, but they gave him less money, and he took it. Because that's why when the Red Sox were handing out big money to Manny Ramirez, they made sure he was healthy. 2001 to 2008, he was a dangerous, dangerous man. And then they bring in David Ortiz as a small-time free agent. Boston built one big money guy, and then they got the other guy who was little money who turned into Big Papi. Because good teams take small market value players like the A's have, and they lose guys like, and yes, I already know, Matt Olson leads the league in home runs, the entire Major League Baseball in home runs. Does that make me feel any better about what's going on, what happened? Hell no. You got a guy that hits 50 home runs. He's going to have a case to hit at least 60 home runs for a team that didn't even want him, that traded him away. That trade for Sean Murphy now, too, guess what the A's have gotten? They got a bad reliever, 21 years old, Kyle Muller, cannot throw strikes to save his life.
Yep.
Manny Pena, the backup catcher from Atlanta, he played 3 games for the A's all season, 3 for 12, and he goes 3 for 12 with a homer. That was it. That just shows crappy trades, and I don't care if I'm swearing right now or not. Crappy trades happen all the time.
Yep.
That's why small-time players can go to whatever team they want and become big-time. That's why it's such a problem for certain people. You don't know what's going to happen, and when it finally happens, it implodes.
Yep. And my next question is, before we get to our reports, are the Angels actually going to see if Mike Trout wants to seek a trade this offseason? Because I don't see that happening. I don't. He signed a long-term contract. For what year, I forget. I know it's at least 10 years. And now all of a sudden, with how bad the Angels have been, getting Antonio hurt and everything else, are they actually going to do this?
I don't. In all honesty, Trout is cooked. I'm not saying he should retire, but he's got that issue that a couple other players have had with their backs. He's got a degenerative back issue, which means if he keeps playing, he's going to retire early.
Yep.
I think that's. Let me look up his contract right now because I know this is not a good contract for them. Trout. He's in the middle of a 12-year, $426.5 million deal.
Damn.
He's in season 4. He's supposed to get paid another 8 years. He had another issue with the hamate bone, which is the one in his wrist.
Yeah.
He hasn't been fully healthy in, let's see, I think this is the best season he's been healthy in several years. Yeah, no, this is the most games he's played in the last, since 2019. He hasn't played a full, 2016. He hasn't played a full season since 2016. 114 in 2017. He wins the MVP in 2019 for playing 134 games, but 2020 he plays majority of the shortened season. 21 only 36 games. They gave him an all-star, which still bothers me. I get it. 333, 466, 624, 1,000 OPS. I get it. He's good in a small sample size. He comes back, plays 119 games last season and hits 40 home runs, but now he's only played 82 games. So in the last 3 seasons, he's played a total of, get the math in here, 237 games. He hasn't been healthy for a full season for a long, long time. So, hey, I see you, Fingers McGee. I see you. You're playing the air piano. I got you. But, the major problem is Trout hasn't been healthy in a while, and he keeps getting hurt.
He always gets hurt, around the All-Star.
He's only been to the playoffs one time in 13 seasons. You gave him a $426 million contract. What do you think was going to happen?
Yeah.
He's on the wrong side of 30 now. He's 31. He just turned 31. In those 3 seasons combined, he's got 240. He's gone 244 for 863. He's hit 283 in those 3 seasons combined. And no, I didn't include the shortened season because that'd be ridiculous.
Hold on, what happened, Eric?
Oh, the umpire called a strike, and the ball was outside the zone.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, Alfonso Marquez in Texas a couple days ago. I went over his umpire's score, and it showed it like this. Here's the strike zone. This is the strike zone. Half of the pitches were like this for balls. Half of the pitches like this on the inside off the plate. He called strikes. Where we want to where he's standing. He's standing on the catcher's right shoulder. He's calling pitches on the catcher's right shoulder, which is not anywhere near home plate strikes, and he's calling the ones on the inside edge to the left-handed hitters. He called 15 different pitches out inside balls. Anyways, but yeah, no, umpires are getting worse, and they're making a bad case for robot umps. And unfortunately, I think that means they're going to put me and Eric to work. At least the man with glasses will tell you the truth. At least the man with glasses will tell you the truth.
I do not want to be enough. I'd be ejecting every player that comes and insults me.
I know, but
get out of here.
I'll just throw out every Yankees player who comes to the plate. You're out.
Hey, you can't show bias. You have to be an unbiased umpire. They wouldn't let you do Yankee games. They wouldn't let either of you do Yankee games. I don't care about the Yankees, and I don't care how well they do or not. They got eliminated the other day, so yay. But as I was saying, Mike Trout there's 162 games in a season, and you want to talk about Trout asking for a trade? The Angels have had they've had 4 really bad contracts recently. Anthony Rendon, you know that saga that's going on with him? He fouled a ball off his shin in July. It's now September. You want to know how many games he's played? Since then, 0. He's on the 60-day IL, and he's playing hardball because he doesn't want to be with the Angels anymore. But the Angels can't unload that contract because he's become a head case.
Every year,
he refuses to talk to the media.
Every year, Mike Trout says, "This year we need to make the playoffs. This year we have to make the playoffs."
And you want to know what?
Nothing.
Yeah, no. You got a 3-time MVP, 12-time All-Star. I think 12 times, including this season. Yeah, no. 11-time All-Star, 3-time MVP, Rookie of the Year, 9-time Silver Slugger, 2-time World Series MVP. He's never won a Gold Glove. I don't think he's ever won a Gold Glove. Yeah, no. Everyone talks about how great of a fielder he is. Defensive WAR in his career is a 2.7. But yeah, no. Trout is not going to be the same player he was when he was 19. He's been in the league 13 seasons now. He's going to turn 32 next year.
Damn,
you want to know what he did and you want to know what's even sadder? The one time he makes the postseason, 1 for 15 against the Royals. 1 hit and 15 at bats with 3 walks. So I guess that small sample size comes into play here. But if you trade Trout, I'm going to look at this contract again because because he's in year 4 right now as of 2023. I wish they would show the structure of this contract. Come on, show me here. But let's see now. 2024. You want to know how much you got to pay that guy until 2030? You're paying him $37.16 million a year until he's 38 years old. He's got another 7 seasons that you got to pay him. And he's not a free agent until 2031 when he's 39. In his 20th year, potentially in the big leagues. What team? Well, I can give you a list right now. Dodgers, Yankees, not the Padres. Padres are going to be well over the luxury tax. But he's either going to be a Dodger or he's going to be a Yankee. And it's not going to happen, and he's not going to stay. Because then you got to pay Ohtani, and Ohtani's price tag. Where's that going to fall? Because you got $426.5 million, and you got to pay Trout another $200+ million, close to $300 million now. So if you trade Trout, what do you get back in return? Because the Angels have nothing. The Angels have nothing.
No team's going to want that contract.
Well, you're right. No one's going to want the contract, but the Angels trade away all their prospects. You know what
Yeah,
you'd have
all
to
of
get
them.
back? The Angels let Grichuk. They got Renfroe and those guys. We talked about this. If Trout goes in a trade to anybody, they're giving up their entire farm system for one 31-year-old, wrong side of 30, constantly injured center fielder who's a superstar. Even in out-of-the-park baseball, you're not making that trade because of a
And
number of
never,
reasons.
it has never made it the All-Star game in years.
Who, Trout? No, he made the All-Star
Yeah.
game this year.
But he didn't play though. That's what I mean. He's never played
Yeah.
in the All-Star. But he wasn't playing this year.
No. He's not going to get 3,000 hits. He might get 400 home runs, but his legacy now is he's a injury-prone outfielder.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people are not going to be happy with these words, but the more I think about it,
It's becoming more true.
David Ortiz made the Hall of Fame. Trout will come close. His Hall of Fame case is slowly sliding down because he's playing on a team like, when I think of a player that had all that talent and everything, and it was great for their one team. Well, he played for multiple teams, but Andre Dawson,
Yeah.
because he played for Montreal for years. He was part of that group. Played for Montreal. He played for Chicago. He played for Boston very briefly towards the end of his career. He played for Florida. Andre Dawson was one of those where people were like, he's not worth what he's worth. And look what he ended up doing. He ended up having a fine career. He's not making the Hall of Fame.
Mhm.
But now, as I was saying, I'm sorry to go off on a tangent, but Trout is probably not going anywhere. You don't get rid of
Yeah.
I'm not saying you don't get rid of him because of his name value or his face value. You can't get rid of him because you gave him an albatross contract like you gave Pujols, like you gave Rendon, who hasn't played in 2 months and probably won't play another game this season. Josh Hamilton's another one, and now Trout's number 4.
Yep.
You've given all these people contracts that don't play out. I mean, look what happened with Pujols. Pujols you release. He goes to the Dodgers, has a phenomenal second half for them briefly, and then he goes to St. Louis, has his storybook ending to his career. Yes, he got hit number 3,000 with the Angels, but the Angels have absolutely, positively ruined Mike Trout with what they've done with him. Because now look what they did the same thing to Trout that they did with Ohtani. Ohtani is now damaged goods because now they're putting all the eggs in the basket because they paid all this money and they couldn't get a good supporting cast. They got Giolito. Giolito is no good anymore. Syndergaard they let go. He went from the Angels. He went from New York to Philly to Anaheim to Cleveland to the Dodgers and then to Cleveland. They're getting these washed up players to try and support us to be a good supporting cast for a man who was once in a generation like Bryce Harper.
Mm-hmm.
But now Harper's better than Trout in my opinion, but that's just one thing.
All right. Well, good take there. And let's go to the reports. Eric, feel free to give your Red Sox report.
Okay, as you know, the Red Sox are playing the Yankees right now. In the top of the 7th, they're leading 1-0 over the Yankees. Garrett Whitlock has decided to come in for Tanner Houck, who start the game after throwing over 104 pitches. So, and right now, and they suffered a doubleheader loss to the Yankees yesterday, 3-2 and 4-1, while they took Baltimore. Prior to that, Baltimore took 2 or 3 against them, and in the Rays, they took they got one. Rays took 2 or 3 against the Red Sox, and also the Red Sox had 2 and 3 losses to the Royals. And I gotta tell you, they said it takes a miracle for them to make the playoffs, and that they win out all the games and such. That isn't going to happen since it's mostly 2 out of 3 losses. And plus, you got the Blue Jays coming up for a 4-game series in Toronto, and then Texas, who was trying to make a playoff bid, but without Scherzer and DeGrom, Red Sox can play spoiler on that situation. So for a 3-game series, and then they're coming back home for the final homestand of the season, in a 5-game homestand, 3 for the White Sox, 2 for the Rays, and then finally they'll end the regular season in a 4-game series against the Baltimore Orioles, who have been on fire. So all I can say is on that matter of Chaim Bloom getting fired, like I said, he made a lot of mistakes that cost the Red Sox, and ultimately it was going to come back to bite him in the rear end, and that's what happened. And this is what happened. Yep. Ultimately, they let him go. Like I said, whoever decides to manage to take Bloom's place will be inheriting a great farm system, and hopefully has a better baseball mind than Bloom, and see where the Sox will go from there. So,
all right, Chester. I'm sorry. Are you done?
That's my Red Sox report. So, I'm done.
Okay, Chester, go ahead.
So the Astros managed to at least. The Astros lost to the Padres, but managed to get 2 wins. And of course, they go into Oakland, and Oakland beats them twice, but we managed to win yesterday. So the Astros are pretty much. Huh?
Thomas, not Travis, is saying hi.
Hey, Tom.
Oh, hey, Tom.
We'll continue.
But Houston Astros trim magic number to win American League West. While the Houston Astros beat the Oakland Athletics, the teams chasing in the AL West held pace. The Houston Astros finally beat the Oakland Athletics 6-2 on Wednesday night, stabilizing their lead in the American League West. It was good timing for the Astros, 83 and 64. The 2 teams in pursuit of the Astros, the Texas Rangers and the Seattle Mariners, both won. Plus, the Astros shaved their magic number to win the division by 1 game. Wow.
Yep.
Wednesday's result means the 3 teams are separated by just 1.5 games in the division standings, and if the postseason started on Thursday, all 3 would go to the playoffs, as the Mariners moved into the final wildcard spot by themselves. The Astros and the Mariners are off on Thursday, but the Rangers wrap up a 4-game series with the Toronto Blue Jays, so the Astros wake up in Kansas City on Friday. Their AL West lead could be down to just half a game. Below is an update on the race with the current standings magic numbers to clinch the AL West and a wild card berth, along with the remaining schedules for the teams are still in base. So the Texas needs the Astros magic number to clinch the AL West is 16. Texas 1 game, and Seattle 1.5 games behind. So Houston Friday at Kansas City, and in September they have Baltimore and Kansas City and Seattle. So this is going to be a tight one here.
Honestly, the West is starting to get a little bit competitive for the 3 teams.
Yes.
Yep. Seattle's a team we need to look out for. That's a dark horse. As a dark horse team that may end up winning the World Series if they go all the way. They're a dark horse. They are very, very good.
Yep.
And with Julio Rodriguez leading the way. So
is Joey here?
There we go. The A's have lost their 100th game. Do I feel bad? This much. Did I expect this before the season? Yes. And yes, I've seen the light, because after that game against the Mets, where they had their backup catcher pitching, where they walked like 19 guys back in April, when I was still watching those games. Shintaro Fujinami is with the Orioles now. I watched that game where he pitched in front of his poor mother. In Oakland, no less. He loses. They gave up 11 runs in that game with the poor guy's mother in the stands. So, yeah, no, the A's, 46-100.
Yep.
I'm not stopping there, though, because there's plenty of good things that have come out of this season. Plenty of good. I know you guys are wondering, how is he so cheerful for a team that's lost 100 games? Well, they lost 102 last season. They finished 46 games behind the eventual division-winning Astros. Does it hurt that they're this bad? Yes. Do they face a team that's not supposed to be good coming up? Yeah, they face the Padres. The Padres are a different type of team. But when I think about where the A's were at the beginning of the season, everyone had them losing as many games as the 2003 Tigers. That is why I laugh. That is why I'm happy. And that is why I say, go to hell for saying that. 46-100 with 16 games left to go. You want to know how bad a team has to be before they get good again? Let me use a common example for you. Buck Showalter has been managing the Mets for the last 2 seasons. You want to know the last time he managed? When he managed that Orioles team that won 45 games a couple seasons ago. 45-117. They had Chris Davis on that roster. The $35 million first baseman who once went 0 for 62 in a stretch. He had no hits and 62 at-bats. 46-win A's team is better than them right now at this day in time. Brett Rooker, guy nobody wanted. The Royals didn't want him. The Padres didn't want him. Minnesota didn't even want him. He's a 1.3 wins above replacement player. 24 home runs, 58 RBIs. Yes, he struck out 153 times. He's an everyday player. He was an all-star.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm sorry about that.
No, that was perfect timing. I was saying something and you said yes.
The prospect, Ceddanne Rafaela, homered.
Hey, good for him. Is that his first?
No, second.
Second.
Nah, that ruins the moment then. To hell with him.
I'm happy.
I know, still. That's the great part about this league. Because the A's have a bright future. They got Mason Miller back, and the Astros found out who Mason Miller was. 102-mile-per-hour sinker. That is damn near unhittable. He made Yordan Alvarez look bad. Then again, Yordan Alvarez took Blackburn deep last night to start the scoring, but still. Mason Miller, Lawrence Butler, Tyler Soderstrom, Nick Allen. You got Zach Geloff playing second base. The future is definitely bright, but the only problem is, do the A's pay a majority of these guys? Like the oldest player on their roster right now is, I think, no, they got rid of him. I have to find him here. Yeah, no, the oldest player, I believe, by age, is currently...
Joey Casio.
No. No. The oldest player right now on the A's roster was Spencer Patton, but Spencer Patton got DFA'd, so he's probably back down in AAA. The oldest pitcher for the A's is 33-year-old Trevor May, who they picked up as a free agent in the offseason. Did I have my doubts? He signed a 1-year, $7 million contract. He's got 19 saves for a team that's won just 46 games total. You want to know how many saves he's had before this season? How many in all he had? He had a dozen saves his entire career before this season. He's about ready to have double-digit save. He's about ready to have 20 on the season. So yeah, the A's are the island of misfit toys still, 46-100. But I see a bright future ahead, whether it be in Oakland for this last season next year, and I'm going to that last game in Oakland. I'm going to make sure I get a front row seat to see that final game because I know tickets are going to be expensive, but I want to see the A's before they leave one more time. Which actually, by the way, I'm going next Thursday, so I will be here for the show, and I will also be here I will also be going to a game against the Tigers because once in a lifetime things don't come around too often. I get to see Miguel Cabrera play 3 times in my lifetime. Last year I saw him play twice in a doubleheader, and now he retires this year. One of the last games Miguel Cabrera is going to play in a Tigers uniform forever. I get to watch him play.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Well, that's why I love baseball. Baseball is one of my favorite things in the world.
Mm-hmm.
We're all drawn together by a love of baseball here.
Mm-hmm.
My father loved baseball as much as I do. I have baseball stuff in here. I have Ty Cobb, Whitey Ford, Mickey Mantle, Nolan Ryan. I even have a picture. And it's a picture of Mickey Mantle on my wall with 2 other people. I don't know who the other 2 people were, but it's signed. Not by Mickey Mantle, but by the gentleman in the middle. I don't exactly know who it is, but it's actually fantastic that baseball is such a good sport. People find it boring. Every day something different happens. Every day.
Oh, yeah.
The A's almost got no hit last night. They broke up the no-hitter. A no-hitter is so incredibly exciting. You could go to a ballpark and see something you haven't seen ever. That includes a 4-homer game, which has not occurred since J.D. Martinez did it years ago.
Yep.
I mean, a walk-off walk is still exciting as a walk-off base hit.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've seen
That's
a walk-off walk, and it was
versus
fantastic.
Andrew Benintendi did it versus Andrew Benintendi, I believe, did the walk-off walk versus the Yankees back 2017 or 18. I think it was.
Well, that's why baseball is such an interesting sport because that pitcher's out there sweating his nads off, trying to make sure with the bases loaded, he's nervous. He don't have no towel to wipe his brow off, and if he did, he'd probably dump it on the ball, and the umpire's going to throw it back out to him. He's like, wait a minute, what's this? And it's just like, oh, it's just a little bit of water. And it's just like, well, it stinks. He hucks it away. It's like a spitball at that point.
Yeah.
But the thing I wish to see one time before the Lord comes and gets me, I want to see another knuckleballer succeed.
Oh, yeah.
Because the last Matt Waldron, and I wish I was going to see this game, actually, but I'm going to see the Tiger game instead. The A's are facing a guy named Matt Waldron. You guys probably don't know who that is.
Nope.
That's actually very important. Matt Waldron throws a knuckleball.
Oh.
He's part of a dying breed. Yes, he's only started 3 games. He's 0-3 this season, 5.55 ERA. He hasn't won in any of his last 5 starts. But he's 26 years old, and he's a knuckleballer. Mickey Janis was the last knuckleballer in MLB before this season. Now there's 2. There's Waldron and one other guy. As long as the knuckleball does not die, baseball is still going to be a pure sport. Because you can't, and I'm going to say this right now because there's no way it'll happen. You cannot win put a pitch clock violation on a knuckleballer. It will not happen. The ball will make it to the plate at 0. Right as the pitch clock expires, and the umpire is not going to be able to call it a no pitch. Because the ball is so slow, it doesn't rotate. The seams do not move. That's why there's an entire book They did a series on it on MLB Network called The Next Knuckler about a decade ago. But yeah, no. The A's are 46-100. I have faith that they're going to win 50 games. They win 50 games, that's a good milestone. They won only 60 last season. Are they going to win 60 this season? They'd have to go 14-2 rest of the way. And it's against the Padres and the Mariners to start with. That probably won't happen. But Bob Melvin is coming back to the Coliseum for the first time this season. Since being the manager of the Padres. Since going there.
Yep.
That's a homecoming he can't wait to have because I'm sure San Diego hasn't been doing all that great this season. They are 69-78 right now. You want to know what their Pythagorean record is? That means how good they could be. It's a -11. You know why it's a You want to know how many? They're supposed to be 80-67. They're supposed to have 80 wins right now with everything they got. And you know exactly why. Because their team hasn't been playing up to expectations. Gary Sanchez is hurt. I give Gary Sanchez this, though. 19 home runs. This man was released 3 times this season. 3 times. He hit 19 home runs in a comeback season in 72 games. They also have a guy. They have Tatis, 261. He struck out almost every single game he's played in. Juan Soto, he's got 30 home runs, 90 RBIs. He's struck out 123 times, walked only 119. The team is just fine on its own. It's just that expectations are too heavy. Because you got 1, 2, 3, 4 $300 million contracts on that roster.
Mm-hmm.
Machado, Bogarts, Soto, and Tatis Jr. You got $1.2 billion invested in a future of 4 players.
Remember this, by the way.
It's ridiculous. 2 of which are 30 years old right now. Xander Bogaerts and Machado. That's a $600 million. Oh, they did fire Kyle Bloom. That's too bad. I thought he was doing good. But yeah, no. The Padres have 23 more wins than the A's do. They have at least 6 times. No, not 6, but 5. Well, the A's have like a $50 million payroll, but 3.5 times what the A's have as payroll. They can't win. They haven't won 70 games this season. My honest opinion, I think the A's should take another series from San Diego and knock them out. Because if I had to guess, I think San Diego's close to being out of the playoffs too.
Yeah, I said, look at the standings.
Yeah, they
behind
are
the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Oh, they just got eliminated today.
Oh crap!
Yeah, no, they got the skull. They don't have the skull and crossbones, but they have the E next to them. Now, yeah, no, it's the A's were first, the Royals were second, the Rockies were third, the White Sox fourth, Padres fifth. But interesting. So it's currently for the wild card for the NL. It's Arizona, Miami. No, it's oh my God. Oh, this could be very close. Cincinnati and Arizona are tied right now for that wild card. It's Arizona and Cincinnati, and then the Giants and Miami. The Cubs have the second wild card right now locked up. The A's are currently 46-100. The Royals are 46-101, and they've won. Oh my God! The Royals are expected to be 56-91 right now. That's harsh. That's harsh. That's pretty bad when you're a team like that. Pythagorean record is how good they're supposed to be based on skill. 56 and 91. They're 46 and 101. The A's are playing better than their Pythagorean record right now. They're only one game better. They're supposed to be 45 and 101.
Yeah.
That's why it's good to know that you're playing above your standard. Like the Rays are supposed to be a 93-win team right now. The Rangers are supposed to have 87 wins right now. Orioles are only supposed to be 84 and 61. Let me look at the Red Sox. The Red Sox are supposed to be a 74-win team. Yankees, 71 wins. Like, the worst team possible right now is the A's, but a lot of teams are playing below expectations. That's why it's so scary to think about. Pythagorean luck is what they call it. The Marlins are supposed to be 67 and 79. That's why they call it luck in this sport. Luck is a very big thing. Okay, David. Do you have anything to add?
No, I'm here. I just had to do something. But that's gonna be it here for this episode of the Dugout Crew Podcast. I want to thank everybody for watching, and I will see you all next week. Well, I won't be here next week. See you all in 2 weeks for the final episode for the season. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Peace.